Okay, lastly, we're still looking at volume, but now I want to look at the volume of a sphere. Now be careful. On a sphere, I may give you the radius, like we see number 19. I gave you the radius, but I may also give you the diameter. Like you see number 20, it crosses the whole circle. So gotta be careful. Do I give you the radius or do I give you the diameter? But let's talk about the formula, how to figure the volume of a sphere. So I want to look at a sphere, right? So I have like a ball there. The interesting part is that if I find a cone that has the same base, right? The circle in the center of my sphere is the same base as a cone, and it has the height of the sphere, and I fill up I fill it up with water, and I dump it into the sphere, I'm gonna find out that it takes me 2 cones to fill up a sphere. Pretty cool. It takes me 2 cones to fill up a sphere. Now, last time we talked about the volume of a cone. We said it was going to be the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Okay? So if I have 2 cones to make a sphere, we can say, well, it's going to be 2 times the base times the height divided by 3 because I have 2 cones, right? 1 cone is base times height divided by 3. So 2 cones, we can say it's 2 times the base times the height divided by 3. Now, a little bit more. Let me work on this a little. So let me write down here 2 times the base times the height divided by 3. Let me take a look at the base of the cone. Okay, the base of the cone is a circle. I know how to get the area of a circle. It's radius squared times pi. Okay, so the base, I can easily write it as radius squared times pi. Now, the funny thing is the height of the cone. The height of the cone is the same height as the sphere. But I know from the center of the sphere to any side, it's 1 radius. So I'm going to say the height will be 2 times radius, because the height of the sphere happens to be the diameter. So I'm going to call it 2 times radius. So again, the base I know is radius squared times pi, and the height is 2 times radius. So let me write this as 2 times radius squared times pi times 2 times radius, all this divided by 3. Now, the top, I can combine some like terms, right? Looking at the top, I have a 2 and a 2. I can multiply that, right? 2 times 2 on the top, that's going to give me 4. But then I see radius squared and radius to the 1, right? When we don't see the exponent, it's radius to the 1. Back in algebra, I learned that when I'm multiplying, they have the same base. I'm just going to add the exponents. So I'm going to say my formula for the volume of a sphere is going to be 4 times radius cubed times pi divided by 3. Again, I multiplied 2 times 2 on the top to get the 4. Radius, I just added the exponents. 2 plus 1 gave me radius to the 3rd. So again, it's going to be 4 times radius cubed times pi, all of this divided by 3. So guess what? I only need to know the radius. So let's take a look at our work. I just need to know the radius. So I'm going to say from number 19, my radius is 12. And I know the formula is 4 times radius cubed times pi, divide this by 3. So I'm going to write a big fraction. When I grab my calculator, I'm going to write a big fraction. I'm going to go 4 because I start with 4. Now the radius is 12, right? So I'm going to go 4 times 12 times 12 times 12. Notice I did 12 3 times. And then times pi. But my instructions is going to say use 3.14 for pi. So on the top of my fraction, I'm going to have 4 times 12 times 12 times 12. And then my answer, I'm going to have it times 3.14. And all of this divided by 3. Now I'm gonna use my calculator for this, and it's gonna give me 7,234.56. My second decimal number is big enough, so it's gonna round this to 7,234.6. Good. Let's take a look at number 20. The diameter is 16. That means that the radius is 8, because it's the half of 16. And I know the formula is going to be 4 times radius cubed times pi, all of this divided by 3. So I'm going to type it on the big fraction. On the top of my fraction, I'm going to have 4 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 3.14, and all of this divided by 3. Again, use a calculator if necessary. And my answer happens to be 2,143 point, and there's a 5, 7, and then a bunch of 3s. Okay, my second decimal number is 7. So that is big enough. It pushes my 5 up. So my answer would be 2,143.6.